Hello, welcome to the online classes organized by School of Distance Education, University of Calicut. In this paper, we are discussing about the business research methods for the BBA and BCom 5th semester students. So, in this subject, you have to go through 6 chapters. That is, the first chapter includes about the business research introduction, then planning of research and research process. Third chapter, research design. Fourth is measurement and scaling, and data processing and report preparation or research report. So the first module, it include the basic thing about research, that is business research, meaning, definition, features, types, etc. Then the basic and applied research, exploratory, descriptive and casual research, then the phases of business research. So firstly, let's move to the meaning of research and business research. So Robert Ross defined business research as the essentially an investigation. Research means it is an investigation, a recording and an analysis of evidence for the purpose of gaining knowledge. Simply, it is a search for knowledge, or it is a systematic method of finding solution to the problems. So our topic is business research. So the business research refers to the systematic collection and analysis of data with the purpose of finding answers to the problems facing the management. So research relating to the business is called business research. Okay. So features of research. Basic features of the research include: it is the discovery of new knowledge, and it is essentially an investigation. Business research is an investigation simply, and it is related with the solution of a problem. Actually, we are trying to solve a research problem, a question in research. So it is based on the observation or experimental evidences. Research is conducted based on the experimental evidences, and it demands accurate observation or experimentation. Then in a research, the researchers try to find out answers for the unsolved questions. Research, in front of the researcher, we have unsolved question to be solved. These are the major features of the research. Then we have to define two terms. Basically, it is a theory and a concept. The theory means it is a set of systematically interrelated concepts. Definitions and propositions that are advanced to explain and predict a phenomenon. So systematically interrelated concepts that are advanced to explain and predict a phenomenon is called theory. And the requisites or criteria of a theory. So a theory starts from an idea. So the basic requisites are: they must be logically consistent. There should be a logical relation with the statements, and the idea or the theory must be interrelated to each other, and the statement must be exhaustive, and the proposition should be mutually exclusive. So these are the major concept or criteria relating to the theory. They must be capable of being tested through research. Testable, then mutually exclusive, exhaustive, logically consistent and interrelated. These are the requisites or criteria of a good theory. And what is the role of theory in research? The theory narrows the range of facts to be studied in our research. Then the theory provides a conceptual framework about the study. Then it narrows and it gives a conceptual framework and summarizes concisely what is already known about the object of the study. So the theory states a general uniformity beyond the immediate observations. Okay. So the method of formation of theory. In research, we have different methods to form a theory, to reach to a theory. So major methods are deductive reasoning and inductive reasoning. So deduction means it is a process of drawing generalization through the process of reasoning on the basis of certain assumptions which are either self-evident or based on observation. Deduction means moving from general statement to a particular conclusion. Simply we can say, so we can say through an example. So by deduction it means reasoning or inference from the general to a particular conclusion. General to particular. See an example. All men are mortal is a general statement. All men are mortal. And A is a man is a particular statement. So from this statement, from these two statements, major premise and minor premise, all men are mortal is a general statement. Then A is a man is a particular. Then we are moving to a particular conclusion that therefore A is mortal. So this kind of theory, this kind of reasoning is called deductive reasoning or deduction. That means general to particular. So next method of building theory is called induction or inductive reasoning. Deductive reasoning, and second is inductive reasoning. Inductive reasoning is a process of reasoning from part to whole. It is just opposite of deductive reasoning. So in deductive reasoning we explain that it moves from general to particular, but in inductive reasoning it moves from particular to general conclusion. So inductive reasoning is used in investigative purpose by the policeman. Okay, so it involves two processes, namely observation and generalization. Firstly we will observe, then we will reach to a general conclusion. Okay. So in empirical science we start from the consideration of a single case and go on to prove many cases, and finally we can conclude to the. So consider the following illustration. I saw a raven in black color. Other ravens seen by me were also black color. So this is an example of induction or inductive reasoning in research. So that is a conclusion. All ravens are therefore black. How you reach to this conclusion? It is from this statement, particular to a general conclusion. So it is just the opposite of inductive deductive reasoning. So another term is concept. Our concept is a means it is symbolizes the phenomenon and helps to communicate its finding. So for instance, labor is a concept. Labor is a concept. Richness is a concept. Richness, rich. So it symbolizes the empirical relationship and phenomena which are indicated by facts. So a fact is a logical construct or concept. So the process of conceptualization arises out of abstraction and generalization of sense impression. So concept is a phenomenon that helps to communicate its findings. Simply, labor or richness is a concept. So we have explained two terms, theory and concept. Now we are moving to the type of research. Basically we have there are a lot of types, that of classification you can see, but the basic classifications are fundamental and applied research, then the descriptive and analytical research, then quantitative and qualitative research, conceptual and empirical research. So fundamental or basic research. So fundamental research, as the name indicates, it is mainly concerned with the generalization with the formulation of theory. A research conducted to form a theory or theory building is called basic research. Newton's law. It is only to make a law. So that kind of making theory building or making a basic theory, basic formula, it is called fundamental or basic theory, basic or pure research. And second, applied research is concerned with the solution of a particular problem. This is the key word. Solution of a particular problem. It aims at finding a solution for an immediate problem facing in a society. So a research conducted a research concerned with the solution of a real life problem, that is called applied research. But fundamental research is generally for making or formulation of theory or theory building. Next, descriptive and analytical research. So descriptive research include survey and fact finding inquiries of different kinds. So it describes the describes, as descriptive means it describes the state of affairs, what is existing at present. See, what existing at the present, that is a question to be solved through the descriptive research. But in analytical research, one has to use facts or information already available and analyze these to make a critical evaluation of the material. So we will analyze the already available facts. Okay. Another is quantitative and qualitative research. So quantitative research means if your result or finding is represented in data, in number, it is called quantitative research simply. And quantitative means it is concerned with the qualitative phenomenon. Qualitative phenomenon, research designed to find out how people feel or what they think, satisfaction, beauty. So about all these are concerned with the qualitative research. Okay. Conceptual research and empirical research. So the conceptual research is that related to some abstract idea or theory. It is concept or theory or abstract idea. It is generally used by philosophers. So conceptual research is generally used by philosophers to make some abstract theory or ideas, and the thinkers to develop new concept or interpret the existing concepts or theories. And the empirical research means it relies on the experience or observation alone. So based on the observation or experience of some phenomena, something, such kind of research is empirical research. It is the data based on research coming up with the conclusions capable of being verified by observation or experiment. Empirical, it is based on the observation and experiment. We can verify the data or the conclusion what we have already find out. That is empirical research. Okay, so all these are the related the important area or topic to the with the first chapter. Second module, we have to go through the exploratory research, its objectives, methods of experience survey, secondary data analysis, case study, pilot study, by focus group interview, process of problem definition, understanding background of the problem, determination of unit of analysis, then determine the relevant variables and state of research questions, hypothesis, etc. So we will see the planning of research and research process is the first area in this topic. So planning of research means deciding, as the name indicates, planning means deciding in advance or deciding the question to be studied. So the question here means the area that we are going to be research, setting the objectives of the study and determining the means of achieving these objectives, how we are going to be studied our problem. That is the area or term relating to the planning of research and research process. So we will have move through the some steps. So we have 12 steps to be go through while conducting a research study. So the first step is identifying and formulating the research problem. The first step in research, doing a research or conducting a study, is we have to identify and formulate a research problem or question. Okay, so then extensive literature review. Literature survey or review means already existing, we are checking existing surveys or existing studies who have conducted the studies relating to our topic and what are their findings, what methodology they have used. That is extensive or detailed literature survey. Then we will write a preliminary we will write a primary synopsis. So synopsis means this is an outline about our topic. So based on this for problem formulation and literature survey, we will get some idea where we have to be researched and what area we have to be conducted, and a lot of points will be analyzed. So based on this we will get an idea. So the third step, we have to write the synopsis. Then fourth step is identifying and labeling the variables. Variables means that varies. We will discuss the term later. Then setting up of hypothesis. We We will discuss this the meaning and type of hypothesis here later. Then preparing the research design. Research design means it is a blueprint of research. Blueprint of research is called research design. So a design or structure of our research will be prepared. Then we have to determine the sample design, which is our sample unit, to whom we are collected, and the methods of data collection. All these things will be come under this area. Then we will collect data. Then execution of project, we will execute the coding, all activities will be done. Then analysis and interpretation of the data. Based on the analysis and interpretation, we will test our hypothesis that already we have framed. Then finally we will make conclusions, summary, and based on these all these we will prepare a research report or thesis. These are the major steps that a researcher has to go through. And the research problem means, already I told you, it is the question or an issue to be examined or solved by the researcher. Okay. So while selecting a problem or question or research topic, which are the requisite or that or characteristics of a good research problem? The research problem or topic must be clear and unambiguous. It should be clear what I am going to be done. Then it will be logical and systematic, and it will be empirically tested. Then there should be it shows a relation between the variables, and it should be verifiable. As a research, it should be systematic and verifiable and interesting to the researcher, and also useful to the society. Okay, various aspects of a research problem. We have to define our problem clearly, and we have to define or we have to find out the scope or area of the research. Then we have to justify, should have a justification why I selected this problem. What is the relevance of this problem to the society and to the entire needy people, and the feasibility of the problem, whether it is able to conduct or not. Then originality of the problem, all these are the aspects of a research problem. Then the relevant variables associated with the research. We have variable already, it means it is a measurable concept, or what it is, it varies something. So it may be height will be a variable, age, income, all are may be variable. Then level of satisfaction is another variable. So we have in our research two type of variables. Generally we use dependent variable and independent variable. Say an example, if you are taking the demand and price. If the price increases, demand decreases. So price, movement of price depends what the movements of demand. So here the price is a independent variable because demand depends on price, and the demand is the dependent variable. Demand depends on the price. When the price increases, the demand decreases. So demand of a commodity affect the price of the commodity. So we will have two variable, very important variable, that is dependent variable and independent variable. Okay. So the unit of analysis. A variable can be measured and analyzed by the statistical unit. The statistical unit's focus for analysis and interpretation is known as unit of analysis. Ratios, percentages, coefficients of correlations, that coefficients are the units. So such units are used for analysis and interpretation in our research. Okay. Another topic related to our subject is hypothesis, very important. So hypothesis means it is a tentative statement. It is an assumption or tentative statement showing the relationship between two or more variables, the reliability and the validity of which is to be tested and verified. So hypothesis means it is an assumption, tentative statement or tentative solution to the research problem. It is a proposition, it is answering the question. So it is proposed solution of a problem. Proposed solution of a problem is, it is hypothesis. Probable solution or proposed or solution is called hypothesis. Statement which are to be tested is hypothesis. To be accepted or rejected is hypothesis. We have two type of hypothesis: null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis. So we will test the null hypothesis, and if the null hypothesis is true, we will accept the null hypothesis and we will reject the alternative hypothesis, and vice versa. So descriptive hypothesis we have, and relational hypothesis we have. As I already told you, we have major very important hypothesis is it is a null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis. So null hypothesis points out there is no difference between two populations in respect of same property, but the alternative hypothesis says just opposite. If we are rejecting the null hypothesis, we will accept the alternative hypothesis and vice versa. Okay, these are the major area associated with the second topic. In our third module, the syllabus explains about the meaning of research design, methods of descriptive and casual research, survey experiments, secondary data studies, observation sample design, then simple random sampling, restricted sampling, that means methods of sampling. So the research design here means it is the blueprint of research. Blueprint of research, that means the complete structure of the research is called research design. And the essentials of research design include the design should be activity and the time based plan. This blueprint means it will have a time plan and activity plan. So it should be an activity based and time based plan. It always is based on research question, not out of the question. Then it guides the selection of sources and types of information, and it indicates the framework of for specific and relationship among the study variables. Then it outlines the procedures of every research activity, and should be flexible as per the, it should be changeable, that means then it must be adequate to the completion of the research. We have exploratory, descriptive and casual research designs. So can be explained like this. So exploratory means it is used to gain background of information, to define terms, to clarify problems and develop hypotheses, and to establish research priorities, and to develop questions to be answered. The descriptive research design used in research to describe and measure the phenomena at a point of time. And the casual research design, it is used to determine causality, test hypothesis, and to make if-then statements to answer the question in research. And the sampling design means a sampling design, it is a definite plan for obtaining a sample frame in a given population. So sample is a representative or representative of the population, and the sampling design means it is a blueprint relating to the sample simply, but it is a definite plan for obtaining sample from a given population. Okay, so steps in sampling designing. At first we have to define the population or universe where we are studying, so which is our population. The state the sampling frame, then identify the sampling unit, which are the unit. Then sampling methods, we have two major type of sampling methods, that is random and non-random sampling. Then determine the sample size based on the formula, and spell out the sampling plan. Then select the sample from the population representing the sample. So we have two type or method of sampling, that is probability sampling and non-probability sampling. So a probability sampling is one in which every unit has equal chance to be being selected, but in a non-probability sampling it is not possible to being selected in all items or sample. Which are the methods? So the probability sampling method include systematic sampling, stratified sampling, cluster sampling, and simple random sampling. So Probability means each and every element has equal chance to be being selected. And the systematic means we will follow a systematic method. That means if you selected arrange the population in an order, and you are selecting every fifth item or every nth item, that method is following, that is called systematic method. And simple random means it is a lottery method. Already the name indicates lottery method is an example of simple random method. So simple random means each and every element has equal chance to being selected, but simple. In cluster and stratified, both are, if you are reading you will feel that both method are similar, but the difference is cluster sampling, we will arrange or classify the population or in different clusters in cluster sampling, but in stratified we will arrange them in homogeneous strata or group. But if you are arranging the population in geographical basis, that is called cluster sampling. Okay, stratified means we will classify as not based on the geographical basis, men women, it is a classification, it is not based on geographical. But if you are classifying the men and women in based on the geographical location, it is cluster sampling. So these are a major probability sampling method. In addition, we may have a multi-phase sampling. Okay, then the non-probability sampling means convenience of the researcher. The researcher collect data to whom he is more convenient. Judgment, based on his judgment, he may take or reach some meet some respondent. Then quota also is a type of non-probability sampling, because every person do not have equal chance. If you are collecting data from the age group of 45 to 55, that means other age group do not have equal chance to be being selected to that study. So that is a quota. And the snowball means that snowball indicates the study where the population is not known, and in snowball sampling the we will reach to find one or two person, and that persons may help us to find out another person, and the next person will help us to find out another person. So that kind of method is called snowball sampling. So major difference between non-probability and probability is non-probability method do not consider all the elements, but probability sampling method consider all the elements. Okay, another topic is errors in sample survey. There is a chance to have an error in sampling. So survey results are typically the subject of some error, possibility of some error, and the total errors can be classified into sampling errors and non-sampling errors. So sampling errors and non-sampling errors. The term error here include the systematic biases as well as random errors. Let's see what are them. The sampling errors and bias. Sampling errors and bias are included by the sample design. Due to the sampling data collection, or by taking a sample, there should be some error, chance of being error. So the sampling error may be due to the selection bias or random sampling method bias will be there. The sampling bias so the sample selection bias or random sampling bias. Then sampling bias may be sampling analysis involve two type of cost, namely cost of collecting data and cost of an incorrect inference resulting from the data. So they are to cause for the correct inference resulting from the data. So there may be systematic bias or sampling sampling errors or bias. Okay, so why there is a systematic bias? Systematic bias may be unsuitable sampling frame or source list may be the reason, or the faulty measuring in device, non-respondent may be there. Then usual bias in reporting. While reporting we will have some missing of data or something. Then sampling errors. So sampling errors, there are errors which arise due to the use of sampling survey are known as sampling errors. So the random variation in the sample estimate around the true population parameter is the sampling error. So which are the types of sampling errors? Biased error and unbiased error. So the biased error means these errors are occurring due to the faulty selection of sampling method. Faulty selection of sampling method due to the prejudice of the researcher or enumerator. Faulty, this is a biased error is the personal bias of the or faulty selection of the sampling method of the researcher. Unbiased means this type of bias is occurring due to the chance of difference between the items included in the sample. So what are the causes of bias? Faulty process selection, then faulty work during the collection of information, or faulty method of analysis. Then non-sampling error. Non-sampling errors are other errors which can impact the final survey estimates caused by problems in data collection, processing, or sample design. So it may be over coverage may be the reason, under coverage may be the reason, measurement error will be the processing error or non-response error. So which are the method of data collection? We have sample design and research design. We selected a sample, we make a analysis, or what we make how to collect the data, which are the method we are using the data. So the major method of collecting data, it is a primary and a secondary. So the primary data means the first hand data the researcher is directly collecting for the study, but the secondary data is the data already collected by the other researchers or other agencies, other institutions. Especially the report, annual financial report of published by Reserve Bank of India is secondary data because it is firstly collected by the Reserve Bank. Okay. So how to collect primary data? It may be through observation, interview, questionnaire, schedule, experimentation, simulation, use of telephone, panel method, mail survey, projective technique may be used, sociometry may be used, focus group discussion will be there, and content analysis. All these are used for primary data. Primary data is more relevant than secondary data in research. Okay. Fourth module of our subject includes the measurement and scaling, nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio scale, and criteria for good measurement, reliability, validity, designing questionnaire, means of survey data collection, personal interview, telephonic mail, etc. So measurement and scaling. Measurement or scaling implies conversion of the qualitative data that is already collected. The qualitative data, converting the quality data into quantitative data, that is the process of measurement or scaling, and then measuring them for the analysis and interpretation. Okay, for this purpose we are using various measurement techniques in the research, and scaling is an attempt to bring about the greater accuracy which is desired in both physical and social sciences research. The scale classification, we have four major scales: nominal scales, ordinal scale, interval scales, and ratio scale, that is used mostly in research. The nominal scale indicates if you are using numbers or letters assigned to objects which serve as labels for identification or classification. So nominal scale means it indicates the numbers, name of the variable. So ordinal scale arrange the object in an objects or alternatives according to their magnitude in an ordered relationship. Rating career opportunities is as excellent, good, or average, or poor is an ordinal scale. And the interval scale, it indicate order and also measure order. There will be an order and also measure the order or distance in the units of equal interval. So when an interval scale is used to measure the psychological attribute, the researcher can comment on the magnitude of difference. That is a speciality of interval scale. The researcher can comment on the magnitude of a difference or compare the average differences on the attributes that are measured. And the ratio scale, This is a very relevant scale in research, especially social science research. The ratio scale has equal interval properties of an interval scale, but the speciality is it has a true zero, an absolute zero, and possible to indicate the complete absence of a property. That is the specialty of. Then, if you are using nominal scale, it is basically used for counting, that is a numerical operation. Mode, frequency of the category, etc., is the descriptive statistics relating to the nominal scale. Or if you are using ordinal scale, is used for ranking of the data or variable. Medium, range, percentage are used. Interval, mean, standard deviation or variance are the descriptive statistics associated with the interval scale. And ratio scale, geometric mean, coefficient of variation, etc., are the major variables in associated with the ratio scale. Another is the questionnaire. What is questionnaire? There is a question in the in a question paper, that is what is the difference between questionnaire and schedule. So let's see what is questionnaire. Questionnaire, as the name indicates, is a document containing a list of questions. Simply, a document contains a list of questions designed to solicit information from respondents appropriate for analysis. So questionnaire, why we prepare questionnaire? What are the objectives? Translate the information needed into a set of specific questions, or to motivate and encourage the respondent to become involved in the interview and to cooperate and to complete the interview. So questionnaire helps us to complete our research study based on our objectives of the study. So which are the type of questionnaire? Here we have open-ended questions and closed-ended questions. The open-ended questions means respondent is asked to provide his or her own answers. It is open. They can write or fill anything what they feel about the question. But closed-ended question means we have a structured questionnaire there, and we have question and some options. So the respondent has to answer from these options. Okay, respondents are offered a set of answers from which they are asked to select one that most closely represent their views. Okay, so the close-ended questions may be multiple choice questions, dichotomous questions, or scale questions. So multiple choice questions means we have multiple choices to be selected. But dichotomous question means we have two options, yes or no, agree or disagree, good or bad. These are type of the dichotomous questions, and these type questions are used in our research questionnaire. Then schedule method, interview schedule. So interview schedule is a device used in collecting field data when survey method is applied. Simply, what is the difference between questionnaire and schedule means, if you are preparing questionnaire and it is filled by the respondent, that is called questionnaire. If it is filled by yourself, that means the researcher on himself or herself, that is schedule. So the schedule will be, actually it is the questionnaire, but it is filled by the respondent, researcher, but the questionnaire is filled by the respondent. Okay, thank you. In our fifth module, it includes two parts. One is about data processing, and second is preparation of research report. Firstly, we are moving to the data processing. So processing is a statistical method by which the collected data is organized, the further analysis and interpretation of the data. So we have collected the data, it should be processed. For the why it is processing? For the further analysis and interpretation of the collected data and making or reaching to a conclusion. Processing stage include editing, coding, classification, and tabulation. So editing means it is a process of examining the data collected through various methods to detect errors and omissions and correct them for further analysis. So it is a process of examining the data actually collected. If there is any errors and rectification, we will modify that. And coding is the process by which the response categories are summarized by numerals or other symbols to carry out the subsequent operations. Then classification is the process of reducing the large mass of data in a homogeneous group. Classification means grouping of the data as per their homogeneity. And tabulation means data are arranged orderly of the data in rows and columns. So it is a measurement of data columns and rows simply. So in this it is a stage between the classification and the final analysis of data. The common descriptive techniques or statistical methods used in research consist of the percentages and frequency tables. So percentages means we will represent the data in percentage, and the frequency tables shows the data in a table form. The frequency table can be described in the two ways, as a table or graph. So if the frequency distribution is depicted in the form of table, we can call it as frequency table. Okay, you can see in the research papers. Then contingency table. So contingency table shows the relationship between two variables in a tabular form. It is first used by the Carl Pearson in 1904. Contingency tables are especially used in the chi-square test while applying. Then graphs and diagrams are used for representing the data. So which are the types of graphs? Chart or line graphs will be used, bar charts, circle chart or pie diagram, pictograms. All these are the types of graphs that are used in research analysis and research processing. Then analysis of data. So analysis of data means the critical examine of the data for studying the characteristics of the objects under study and for determining the patterns of relationship. So based on the analysis, we can conclude or make an inference about the data collected. Okay. So we have two types of analysis, that is descriptive analysis and inferential analysis. Descriptive analysis methods are univariate analysis, bivariate analysis, multivariate analysis, and inferential analysis also. So both can be summarized as descriptive statistics or analysis are used when you want to know something about everyone in an entire group, all customer satisfaction. So this is descriptive analysis. Inferential analysis or statistics are used when you want to know something about everyone from a smaller group is descriptive analysis. So in inferential analysis, descriptive analysis, we uses univariate analysis, bivariate analysis. Uni, as the name indicates, it involves describing the distribution of a single variable. If you are describing the single variable, analysis of single variable, it is univariate analysis. And if it is bivariate, means if you are analyzing two variables, it is bivariate analysis. Multivariate analysis means it shows the relation between multiple variables or multiple factors. Okay. Some of the descriptive statistics are measures of central tendency, that is mean, median, mode, etc. The measures of dispersion, standard deviation, mean deviation, etc. Skewness and kurtosis, correlations, regression analysis, index numbers, time series, coefficient of association. All these are the descriptive statistics used in research analysis. So what is interpretation? We have analyzed our data, then we will interpret the data. Interpretation means the technique of drawing inference from the collected facts and explaining the significance of those inferences after an analytical and experimental study. It's a search for broader and more abstract means of research finding. Okay. Next topic is research report preparation. The final step in our research is preparation of the research report. So a research report means it's a detailed description of what has been done or conducted by the researchers. The final outcome is presented in a report form, is called research report. So qualities of a good research report, it should be clear, clarity and continuity will be there. Then consistent, it should be brief, readability to the reader. It should give an interest and appeal to the audience. Judicious selection of materials. It should avoid personal opinions. It should concentrate on central idea of research and proper reference of the research. Uh, Research or citation is there. Then parts or components of research report. The research report may be four parts. Prefatory item will be the introductory part, body, and concluding part. So the prefatory item include title page of the research, researcher's declaration, certificate of the guide, acknowledgement, content, list of abbreviations, list of table, list of figures, list of appendixes, etc. All these are necessary. This is the prefatory or first item in reporting of a research finding. Then the introductory part, second part is introductory part. Introductory part include introduction of brief explanation of the beginning of the problem, then statement of the problem, significance of the study, review of previous studies or review of literature, then scope and area of the study, objectives of the research study, then which are the hypotheses that we are going to be tested, operational definition and concept of the terms that we have used in our study, then methodology of data, that means whether it is descriptive method, analytical or empirical, etc. Then scheme of presentation of the study, the chapters, etc. Then major limitations faced by the researcher while conducting the study. And the body or main text, it is the designing of the chapters based on the objectives of the study, and the it include the uses of tables, graphs, diagrams. It will be represented based on the collected data, and below that it will have an interpretation of the main data. And presentation style also should be in a CAD. Then in the last or in the body we will show the hypothesis tested and its result, whether it is accepted or not. And the concluding part of the research or the end term is recaption of the work done and the summary of the chapters, findings, conclusions and recommendations, and scope for further studies of our topic, and the appendix or bibliography or reference of the study should be mentioned and shown. All these are the major area you have to keep in mind. This is a topic about our research methodology. Thank you all.